Okay, this is Business 342, Workbook Lecture page number 86, Capital Structure Weights. This is just how you get the weighted averages for the WACC, which is the weighted average cost of capital. The symbols they use are E for market value of equity, which is the number of shares times the market price. That's the market price. D for debt, market value of debt. They're saying market value, so you're using the market price. The number of bonds times the bond's market price. Market price is used in calculations of E and D, equity and debt. V is the market value of the firm, which is D plus E, obviously, the value of the debt plus the value of the equity. The weights are determined as weighted averages. The weight of equity equals equity divided by the market value of the firm, which is D and E together. The weight of D is D divided by V. I mean, pretty simple stuff, right? Just weighted averages. Problem, suppose you have a market value of equity equal to 500 million for equity and a market value of debt for 475 million. What are the capital structure weights? They're just asking for the weights, the capital structure weights. So the total value is 500 plus 475 is 975. The weight of equity is the 500 divided by 975 so it's 0.5128 or 51.28%. The weight of debt is debt divided by the total value, and that's 48.72%. Pretty simple stuff. Don't worry about this little thing over here. That's nothing. Okay, problem. The company has a target capital structure of 40% debt and 60% equity. Bonds with a face value of $1,000 pay a 10% coupon semi-annually, mature in 20 years, and sell for, that's the market price, $849.54. Don't worry about this stuff right here because I calculated down below. The company is a constant growth firm that has paid a dividend, paid it. That means it's D0, sells for at $2. So that's good to get D1. It's that times 1 plus the growth rate, which they say is 8%. The shares currently sell for $27 per share. The company's marginal tax rate is 40%. So calculate the company's after-tax cost of debt. So what you do first is you've got to figure out the RD. The RD of the bond is simply the IY, right? So you take N times, since it's semi-annual, it's 20 years times 2 is 40. The present value they tell you is 849.54. And these calculations are the same up here as they are down here. I just did them up there first. Make that a negative number for the PV payments. Well, they tell you it's a 10% bond. But that's $100 on 1,000 face value, but you divide it by 2 since it's semi-annual, that's 50. We know the future value is 1,000. Compute the IY. That turns out to be 6%, but remember the periods we were calculating were semi-annual, so we got to multiply that times 2. So that gives us a 12%. That should be 12% right there. For the cost of capital before taxes. So that's our IY or our RD, which is the cost of debt, right? RD, or the debt return on rate of return on debt, if you're looking at it from the other standpoint. So the after-tax cost of capital is the RD, 12%, times 1 minus the tax rate. And the tax rate, they said the marginal tax rate is 40%. So you actually have to still end up paying 60% of it. So 12 times 0.6 is 7.2%. That's your after-tax cost of debt. Calculate the company's cost of equity. So they gave you the information up here. Oh, it says you want 40% debt and 60% equity. Okay. So they give you that it's a constant growth firm. So we just paid a dividend of $2. So we want RE. This is the constant growth method. I forget what they call it, the dividend growth method or something like that formula. So RE equals D1 over P0, and then you add G to that, which is the growth rate. D1 is D0, which in this case is $2, times 1 plus the growth rate. So $2 times 1.08 over the current price, which is $27. And you add the growth rate to that too. The growth rate to this, so you calculate this first and add the growth rate. So that equals 16%. So the cost of debt, 7.2%. The cost of equity, 16%. They say that you want to have a capital structure of 40% debt and 60% equity. So you put those weights in. This is for equity. This is for debt. And so the overall, the weight times the percent, you add them together and it's 12.48%. That's how you figure out the weighted average cost of capital. That's page 86, Business 332, Workbook Lecture pages.